Well, it's fair to acknowledge consciousness has not been completely explained with neuroscience. There's also an unfortunate dead end with psychedelics, hallucinatory consciousness now. These substances and these chemicals studied at universities and colleges called Johns Hopkins University and talked about by intelligent, brilliant, and genius professors and doctors with PhDs and behavioral specialists. The word consciousness and what neuroscience hasn't learned yet now have less to do with topics called climate change and mental health, as much as a benefit for a physician, a neurologist, to describe to a patient whose religious beliefs prevent them from acknowledging what language tells them in a conversation about what they use to dominate now. Using their consciousness as boring and beneficial for them in their household, and the candies they provide and the drugs they give to their family they control now. A direct path for consciousness doesn't disregard those parts still unsolved. And also doesn't leave empty space, silence and quiet, instead of clarity and focus and concentration. And attention. Now. When there's infinite awareness in an apartment with a locked door, there's a consciousness not disrupted by a constant need to make a sound and hear an echo, to regain attention and concentration and focus. Usually, in certain circumstances, used for men to dominate women. Humans to abuse They're captives. Consciousness doesn't involve a trick, a skill, a sound, a word, a beautiful hallucination. Consciousness, in the context of climate change, in the most simplest of terms, allows a human to ride a bus safely, to buy food at a grocery store, and return home to security now on Capitol Hill in Seattle. Consciousness allows two humans to make a family with babies and children. And consciousness helps with thinking and thought, cognition, decision-making and problem-solving. A direct path to consciousness doesn't need mathematics and anatomy, psychology and control and power. Consciousness only needs a freedom to speak. When someone asks a question about a process with a body and brain in human now, eyes do not have to look where the captor, the dominant man, masculine, strong and powerful human, want someone to look, where they want them to see and what they want them to watch. And here, with their awareness and other extraneous parts, complicating a simplicity denounced as unsolved, unnecessary, and a mystery, requiring humans to go to Mars and live and colonize other planets to learn about now. A direct path to consciousness has gotten mostly ignored, arguably, for the disruption in a person's life when what they see and what they hear and what they watch and what they do with their senses are no longer a lie, are no longer a strategy they use to dominate. And unfortunately, a freedom many parts of the world could never know. A process with such little confusion. Humans make misdirection to have stimulation with their consciousness, not needing economics and money, and only requiring them to cause confusion and disarray, and then magic, awareness. Almost similar to a dream, and then awake. They confuse, they misdirect and cause disarray. And then attention and concentration and focus, they need some sex and food made for them and their muscles and their deep voice and their genitals ignored when there was a planet they were visiting on an alien spaceship they flew from Capitol Hill now. There will always be a human right to, in so many words, be dumb, ignore obvious explanations, causing a hallucination, confusion, and magic show now. But eventually, when climate change gets worse, those who die will be them who continue living on an object in outer space, telling their friends and their lovers and their significant others they're powerful, dominant, and all they need has to do with the confusion they provide, the sound of awareness they give, and the dick and the breasts they shove in faces, twisted and worn, ragged and sagging from the drugs they buy and the abuse they do to them and they and this and it and all of their selves and egos now.